because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Thought the game was over, but it's only just begun.
Welcome to Late Night Massacre, where no one is safe, and I want to go over Evil Dead the game. I know on the channel we haven't covered it that much, but obviously going to be playing this game a lot when it comes out next month. And there's some questions I have about it when it comes to the PvP aspect to it. But we do have some gameplay on both sides, survivors and zombies. So we're just going to take a look at both. We might pause it very couple times. I don't want to bore you guys, but I might pause it a couple times to talk about certain things I really don't get out of this whole thing, or maybe we'll just go through it and see what happens. But let's see some gameplay from Evil Dead the game. Should be, and by the way, I've never, and it's weird because I'm a horror fan and I've never watched Evil Dead in my life. I think I've watched one of the newer Evil Dead, probably early 2000s, a long time ago. So the game looks great. I just need to see what we're getting into when it comes to the content that's coming from it, and how much this can differ from other games that we've been playing as well. So let's get straight into it. We're gonna watch both videos, so let's get into it.
Roles in this game, which is interesting because not all of them have been so intertwined with this franchise like Bruce has been since it was originally released as a movie. So yeah, you want to walk us through what we're seeing here, these skills?
Sure, but yeah, that's really cool. I mean, Bruce has been the face of the franchise since even the beginning, really. I mean, and that we're going to have characters from all of the Evil Dead sort of stuff, including the TV show, Army of Darkness, that's all here. So what we've got here, what we're looking at right now, this is a survivor group, 4 players. In this game, it is 4 survivors versus 1 demon. Now, I know what you're saying. Dan, I've heard this pitch before. However, this is a lot different than other asymmetrical players versus the great evil kind of game, in that the survivors are extremely active against the evil. They will have to battle all kinds of minions, little minions, middle minions, and then the big boss minions, again, as the enemy plans out and plots traps and ambushes and attacks. And I mean fighting very directly. I don't mean like running and hiding or using a flash.
All right, so what I kind of been hearing about this game as playing a survivor, you see the map on the top left-hand side. So this map is kind of like a battle royale type. It's kind of like a battle royale type co-op game as a survivor. And obviously you have to find a few, I understand you have to find like the book, you have to find a few pieces to go to that certain, you have to pretty much find the area where all the zombies are coming from. And I've heard all this, but let's keep going.
Like to scare somebody away.
Yeah.
I mean, chopping them in half. Okay.
That's awesome.
Or blowing them away with a shotgun. Or I'm sorry, in Evil Dead,
the boomstick.
That's my boomstick. That's right. Shop smart. Shop as smart. As you can see here, there are finishing moves you can execute on minor deadites, and that'll get you, depending on your spec, your build, your talents, and all that kind of stuff. You'll get perks for doing that. So it behooves you to like, oh, look at that.
Oh my God, that scared the heck out of me.
A jump scare?
That is a jump scare. So what that means, the demon player actually used an ability that shoots through. You can actually, once you get good with it, I was good with it after like 2 games. You can hit more than 1 target at once with it. So it has a rather long cooldown, and then you just fire it off and you zoom through different characters. What it will do, it gives them a jump scare, which may or may not be important depending what they're fighting.
Oh.
And it raises their fear level. This also raises their fear level when they run into your traps. Like, there's like mini ashes and the hand and some other stuff like that.
The staples.
Right, anything you'd expect from Evil Dead, really. And that stuff all serves to raise your fear bar. When your fear bar goes up, you are more vulnerable to the enemy. They can possess you directly.
Oh, really?
You'll have a little bit reduced vision. You'll be a little bit more wobbly. So you want your fear to be low at all times.
They could take over your body too?
In various ways. So like I said, those finishing moves earlier can help with that. But mostly you're going to be starting fires out in the terrain with matches. And that usually all of your team will come around those.
Game looks fantastic.
Sort of rest for a second to get all your fear eater down. And again, here's another trap, the mini ashes.
Yeah. And so the main goal is we're collecting pages of the Necronomicon, right? to
So the game is
summon the
divided
dagger?
into 3 parts. Okay, basically, essentially think of it like 3 acts. In the first act, you're gathering map pieces to find out where the Kandarian dagger and the Necronomicon are. Then you collect the Necronomicon and the dagger. 2 different steps, really, because they're in different places. And then you come here to the finale, where you'll use the objects that you've collected to kill the Dark Ones themselves and win the game. And of course, all the while, the enemy player, the demon, will be attempting to stop you from doing exactly that.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a 3-part game. And the first part, the demon probably doesn't know where the survivors are. The survivors are looting, kind of like you would in a battle royale game at the beginning.
Okay.
Trying to get some gear before they head out to collect these important objects.
That's
Because
interesting.
because once you're in the object collection phase, like once you basically have to defend against horde mode to collect the Necronomicon and the dagger, right? So the enemy is going to know where you are 100%. Even though it's a huge map and it can be really tough to find the survivors, they will know for sure where you're at that point in the game, and can come and really mess with you. And obviously we have the score screen here. They did win. Again, once you get those items, you go fight the Dark Ones themselves. Interestingly enough, at that point in the game, again, I made an allusion to battle royales earlier. At that point in the game, the map will start shrinking and pushing the players closer and closer in to force them into the Dark Ones encounter, or they'll die. So
Awesome. Okay.
at that point in the game, it's really hectic. It's really like, let's go kind of thing.
Is there still that tension, like other games coming to mind?
All right, so what I'm getting from this is pretty much you have a big map. It's a battle royale type map where I guess it shrinks after a certain amount of time, to where you're going to be running out of time to get these three pieces that you need to fight. I can't even say the names of what you have to fight. I guess at the end when you use that power to destroy the for where the demons are coming from. I guess. I mean, the graphics look good. The combat, it's bloody. It's I guess you have to keep your fear level down. Otherwise, I guess zombies can actually take over your body. I heard they could take over objects and things when you walk around. So as survivors, you can actually split up in this game and look for these things yourself. But, obviously there's more risk involved in that. So we're going to switch over to the other video. We're going to switch over to Evil Dead from the zombies perspective of it. And this one I kind of have some questions about. Heard a lot of things. I definitely want to see a little bit more and see what we're getting into. So let's check that out real quick.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into Game Informer. I'm your host, Alex Van Aken, taking a look at Evil Dead the game alongside the guy who checked out the game, wrote the cover story for Game Informer magazine. It's Dan Tack. How you doing, Dan?
That is probably the best intro anyone's ever given me, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So last video, we took a look at Bruce and team, the survivors, for lack of a better word. And now we're looking at, the minions, the Deadites that the Kandarian demon can utilize.
So I guess from what this is, I guess you could choose between, you can't use all of these guys, obviously. So you could choose between Warlord, Puppeteer, Necromancer. And all these, you could be all 3 of these characters throughout the game, but we'll keep going.
Throughout their side of Evil Dead the game. You want to kind of go ahead and talk about what we're seeing here?
Yeah, we're going to see demon gameplay. Of course, I play the killer in DVD, so this is the kind of gameplay I was most eager to get into. It's a very different experience because you're basically incorporeal here as you move through the world. I don't want to say it's exactly like playing like a dungeon master or anything like that,
Sure.
but you've basically got to set the things up for the players to wander into. We can see the player, grabbing energy globes here. These things are going to let the demon player summon enemies, okay? And that includes like basically low tier enemies, mid tier enemies called elites, and then bosses. The bosses are probably the most fun and the most similar to what players would be familiar with from other horror ASIM games, because you can possess that boss. You can possess anything, really,
awesome.
even players.
And clarifying question, are they picking up these red orbs, or are these the locations that can summon things?
They're picking those up so they can power their, that's basically giving them XP and fuel to do these different abilities. Set traps, summon enemies, etc.
Possess a car, apparently.
Possessing cars is a thing. Yes, you can possess cars, you can possess players, and of course you're going to want to possess the boss monster for sure, but you can even possess minor Deadites depending on the situation. You're like, okay, this is like the one situation I'm going to fly through and scare a couple of survivors, and at the same time, I'm going to possess an elite monster and start attacking them with it manually.
Oh,
so
that's
you get
so
all of
cool.
you get you get all of their abilities when you possess them, as we just did here. So, it's now an occupied character, which can do a variety of things. Each Deadite has its own special abilities. So if I'm playing as the puppeteer, my Deadites are going to have different abilities. And as you can see, that's the other side of the scare thing. You get
yeah, we talked about that last video. That's cool.
We did. And of course, you can spec into these things. If you're playing the puppeteer, you're going to be really focused on possession and disabling the opponents. If you're new to the game, you probably want to play like the warlord, who's all about just like, hey, I hit hard, and I make things hit hard. And then you've got, of course, I think probably the most popular when the game launches will be Evil Ash. From Army of Darkness, because it's Evil Ash from Army of Darkness, and everybody loves that character in Army of Darkness. So you get a full complement of like necromancer style Deadites with that build, which includes a skeleton with a flute who's really funny and very powerful.
She
Basically,
took over.
you have to kill that. You have to kill the flute guy. Doesn't do direct damage, but if you don't kill it, you're in a real big problem.
Oh, we just possessed a player, didn't we?
Right here, yes. Now it doesn't last too long depending on your build, but it can be really disruptive. Like when I was using it, I would try to time it during an already chaotic situation. Right?
Yeah.
And you want to target like the healer or something, which you can identify pretty easily.
So you could possess almost anything. You could possess the tree, possess the car and drive it around and try to hurt the players. I mean, obviously you could set traps, you could send spawn points for enemies, and you could let them battle it out themselves, or you can manually spawn them and become them, and that's pretty cool.
You'd be like, okay, I'm gonna wait till they're in the middle of a firefight with something else. I'll summon a couple of elites or Deadites, along with a situation where they're already being attacked, like when they're trying to get the dagger or the necromantic pages. And that'll give you like a real big window to really cause some massive chaos within the ranks. Especially if they split up. In this game, it might make sense to be like, let's just roll with 4. It'll be the easiest. We can get each other up and we can take care of each other with all of our support abilities. But the survivors can actually split like really hardcore if they want to be. I think that we'll see that more in more advanced strategies.
Yeah, and how big is that map? Like, how far could they go?
It's enormous.
Okay.
It is absolutely enormous. You actually need the car to get around, in my opinion. It is huge, which actually can be kind of challenging for the demon to find them early on. It gives them a buffer to go loot up.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find stuff like different rarity guns. Again, this is sort of battle royale kind of like stuff today. What would be considered facets of that genre, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Really, really interesting. I don't know if that's. Well, see, what I don't get from that whole thing is that this is one player controlling almost everything. See, this is what I don't get about it. So what if you have a player that's so bad? Like, what if, since on this demon side, you're pretty much just like a strategy game / it's like an MMO at some point where it's like a strategy type game on the zombie side because you're setting all this stuff up. Before this game came out, when they announced it, I thought it was going to be just PvP players in this, as well as just a regular storyline where they just spawn. But it's not just a co-op game. It's a PvP game as well, to where it's only one person spawning all these zombies, whether you take control of them or not, and possess things on the way to weaken these survivors to not make it to the last round, to destroy the whatever you have to call when you have to destroy that last piece to the puzzle at the end of the round. So my issue with this is that if there's one player that's so bad at it, then are there, like, whatever you spawn, is that what you're fighting? Or is that what the survivors are fighting? Or does it spawn other guys automatically? Because it seems like you're in control of pretty much what is spawning. And if nothing is spawning, if someone's really bad at being on this zombie side of the game, I feel like it's going to be very easy, but
melee weapons, including chainsaws and shovels and axes and you name it, it's all out there for the and of course, so what just happened there is once they get the dagger or the pages, when they complete that horde event, it kicks the demon player out immediately after, so that gives them a chance to get a breather.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So if they complete the sort of horde mode event leading up to that, the demon, they get a small reprieve. The demon can't just keep jumping on them from the onslaught that they were already giving them.
I love the camera effect playing as the demon. Did you find it easy to control? It's almost got like this fluidity. Like it's just.
It's really trying to go for that. If you've seen the original Evil Dead, you know,
Yeah.
the demon vision. They're really trying to play into that. They do that all over this game, actually. This game is like, you know, I'm a really big horror fan, and I will say for sure, they really tried to adhere to every aspect of the films they could and still make a game with rather varied mechanics instead of having, you know, Evil Dead, right? Like,
Yeah.
so here we have Henrietta being possessed. So this is possessing this boss warlord monster. One of the beefier monsters, obviously, as a boss. So
Yeah.
you can do a lot of damage. She actually has a power fart. You got to be careful about that.
Oh, that sounds like Evil Dead.
I mean, yeah. By the time we got to Army of Darkness, anyway.
Hey, here's the last part, I
Oh
guess.
yeah.
And yeah, with the new show too. I just watched some of that Netflix series. It's on. Was it a Netflix series? I don't know. It was on Netflix though. But anyway,
The
as you can see,
2015
so
one.
many-
Yeah.
tons of different Deadites, and you can possess them. Here we go, possessing a mid-tier elite warlord
Yeah.
Deadite.
I really like how dynamic this looks and how varied like it.
You have to be, if you're playing as the demon, I'm going to be honest with you, you have to be a lot better at the game than playing a survivor, because you're going to have to macro manage and micromanage a bunch of different things all going on at once.
Yeah.
Because while this demon player is doing fairly well in this demo, a coordinated team of survivors will absolutely annihilate anything you possess within seconds. So you have to really time moments a little bit better. They're
Yeah.
kind of just letting Henrietta beat on him here, which is kind of funny. But yeah, if you team up on those monsters, they go down fast.
Awesome. And of course, this is the end screen scoreboard for the demon. Looks very similar to the survivors, but yeah. And then we just rounding out this footage with some executions that Saber sent over. And
Now these are finishing moves you can do, and they are. This is Evil Dead. This is
Yeah.
an extremely gory franchise. For those of you not familiar with it,
I love that one.
It is. Yeah, there are some fantastic takedowns you can do in this game. So like I said,
Jeez.
I gotta say this game really revels in this. If you like to play survivors, you'll be happier, and you probably will like the challenge of playing the demon if you're already like a killer player. I would say.
Word.
It's you really have to get in there and really use every tool in your disposal if you want to eke out a victory, because the survivors, as you can see, they don't take it lying down in this game.
Yeah.
And, will absolutely fight back and fight back really hard.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, Dan. Well, that does it for our two.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, because I was trying to figure out like a while back, I was like, so is this like, is there multiple people playing as demons? But no, it looks like it's only one person playing as a demon, and you have to spawn people at the right time. And of course, when there's a horde mode, I didn't really see that many demons out there in that horde mode. Maybe I just couldn't see. How many are there? Like maybe 2 or 3, or I just felt like there wasn't much there. But survivors, I'm gonna absolutely love it. But you have someone playing a demon and is really bad at being the demon and spawning these guys and making it mostly a strategy type game on the other side. It might be this game might be very easy. So I don't know. I think with the horde, when they put the horde mode in there, when you get a piece of the, whatever you have to get to the last part of the whole game to win. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out like how, like, if there are players that are actually going to be very good at this from the beginning, because probably not. I don't know if there is a balance. I feel like the demon side, if someone doesn't know what they're doing fully or are still learning how to do it, I think the survivors are definitely going to have one up on the demon side. So I don't know what you guys think. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Evil Dead and just the playthrough of survivors and demon gameplay. Which side would you prefer? And do you think it's fair just having a strategy type gameplay on for one player for the whole demon side? That's it. I mean, I thought it was going to be multiple players, but I guess not. Guys, let me know what you guys think of the gameplay. And thank you for joining the Late Night Massacre tonight. And we will see you on next one.